Here we are, another Saturday. 93 of these shows we've done so far. 93, not too bad at all. Just going to check on my microphone placement. There we go. So we have our first good morning from our friend Sean Beckner. Good old woodworker over there on Instagram and YouTube, I think, and some other places. So, Sean, we were going back and forth a couple months ago or a month and a half ago before the summit about the Action 4 and the Action 5 and the Insta360, whatever the heck that thing is. And I bought the Action 5. They had a great, right now, it might still be on, a great special over there on Amazon. But you have to be careful. The first one I ordered didn't have, even though the page itself had the special on it, and I ordered from that page, the order did not go through with the special. There's some other steps that you have to take. So my Action 5 Pro will be coming in a few weeks, and I'll sell my Action 4 locally, and I'll use the Action 5 in its place wherever I use an action camera. So there's a couple of things I really like about the Action 5, a couple of unique things. Number one is it has built-in storage. It has built-in storage, 46 gigabytes, I think, of built-in storage. So even if you forget your little mini card, it has built-in storage. None of the other action cameras have that feature. And one of the other features, a couple of other features, it'll take both of my DJI Mic 2 transmitters via Bluetooth. Not just one, it'll actually accept two, both of these on separate tracks. That's another feature that's unique to the DJI Action 5. And another feature is it has tracking. It'll actually track you a certain amount. Now, the camera doesn't move and the lens doesn't move. What happens is it zooms into 2.7K from 4K, and it tracks you that way. But it actually has a tracking feature. So here's the deal with the Action 5. Let me go pull that up since we're talking about it. I've been looking at these cameras and been waiting for a special to happen. Let me go pull this over here. Dun, 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 dun. But right now is a really good special over there on good old YouTube. Good old Amazon. So here, Action 3. So you have to, here's the thing with Amazon. You have to be careful when you order things. If they say there's a special, you have to be careful and you have to add it to your, make sure you add things like you're supposed to here. I think this is it. I'm looking it up. You know what? I don't think it's there anymore. Yes, it is. So here's what you have to be careful of. Let me just pull a screenshot of this. So you can see what I'm talking about. This is a really, really good price. But you have to be careful. Because the first time I ordered from this page, it didn't go through and I had to cancel the order, and that's kind of a bit of a hassle. Sean says, my settings, I like to run our 4K 30 frames per second with 160 ISO. Shooting inside, I set my ISO at 800 locked off if I'm on a tripod. If Rocksteady handheld, I turn it on. My white balance is inside 4K. I will be using the mute button a few times today because I do have a tickle in my throat. Makes me cough. Good evening from Denmark. The only problem I have with the DJI Mic 2 is that they sometimes decide to connect to my Mac and thus muting the loudspeakers. Turning off Bluetooth solves that problem. Yeah, that's correct. They will, if you're in the proximity of your Mac, they will try to take over. But my AirPods do the exact same thing. If I have my phone here and my Mac here, my AirPods will go back and forth to one or the other, and without me, it'll just say connected to your AirPods. No, I want to stay connected to my phone, but I don't know of a way of forcing that. Anyway, let's go over here. There's me and Tim Cook, my friend Tim Cook over there at Apple. That's not what I wanted to show you, though. Let me turn that off and turn this on. So this is the deal, and you might have to search for it on Amazon. So the normal price of the DJI Action 4 is $249. That's the normal price. That's the regular price, no sale. But look at this. Bundle price, say $15, so you get $15 off the $249, but you get that via a gift card. So DJI Action 5 standard combo action camera with a $15 Amazon gift card cost $349 for both the gift card and the Action 5. That's just the beginning. That's saving you. Yeah, the $15 is coming off of the $349. Now, right here it says bonus 2 free batteries with purchase. Now, the trick is that I found out I just ordered from this page and thought the bonus batteries would come in. It's two separate batteries, so you're getting 3 batteries total. You're getting one with the DJI normal Action 5, and then you're getting 2 more bonus batteries free with this. However, you have to be careful. You have to click on the bonus. You have to click where it says shop items. Let me just pull myself over there and I'll show you. Right above here, over here, it says shop items. You have to click on that, and you have to add the batteries to your cart, 2 batteries, and you have to add the gift card. And they're both different categories. I forget which is which. But add the 2 batteries to your cart with this page and add the gift card. So what happens is you pay $349, but you get a $15 Amazon gift card. So that's $15 off of $349. That's your saving. And you're getting 2 additional Action 5 camera batteries that are both, I think they go for like $35 to $40 each. So that's an additional $70+ you're getting off of the $349. So you're going to have 3 batteries and a $15 gift card from this special. Now there's multiple places where the DJI Action 5 occurs on Amazon. This is a special. I'll put it over there. Let me just pull this up. I'll copy it and paste it and put it over there on YouTube so you can see. You can click on it. And you can get the special. There it is on Amazon.com. So this is a great price because effectively what this is giving you the Action 5 itself for less than $300 for about $260 instead of $349. You're effectively paying about $260, and then you're getting two extra batteries, so that's 3 batteries total, and you're getting a $15 gift card. So I ordered this. The first time I ordered it, didn't go through properly. The first time I ordered, I didn't add the batteries to the cart. I thought they'd be added automatically, but they're not. You have to add them to the cart. Once you add them to the cart and go to your cart, it'll say promotional batteries, $70-some credited. Outside, I do 5700K, and to maintain 4K 30 frame per second, 1/60th, I use an ND filter because 30 frame per second, 160 blows out whites, and the ND filter fixes it. So I have ND filters for my Action 4. I presume they're going to work for my Action 5. You can shoot as low as 100 exposure outside. I like 200 though, yes. So there is the Amazon link. I put it in over there at YouTube so you can click directly on it and go to the right page because there's multiple pages. The DJI Action 5 is listed in multiple places. You have to click on the right link, and then, like I said, add the batteries to your cart, add the gift card to your cart. The gift card is a different category. One of them's a bonus, one of them's an extra. You got to click on the bonus and add the gift card, click on the extra and add the batteries to your cart, and then it all comes up like it's supposed to when you get back to your cart. So that's that. So that's the Action 5. So I'm getting an Action 5. I've been waiting. It has a lot of, I don't like the Insta360 II because it's still shooting in 8-bit. It doesn't shoot in 10-bit. I'm sorry, the other cameras shoot 10-bit. I'm not going to get an action camera that shoots only 8-bit. And it did finally get a log profile, but it's still 8-bit. No, 10-bit. Yes, Action 5 films in 10-bit. The Action 5 films in 10-bit. The GoPro Hero 13 films in 10-bit. But the Insta, they just updated the Insta 360, whatever it's called, to V2, 8-bit still. So that would not be a consideration. That would not be a consideration for me. That throws it gone. But like I said, the Action 5 is the only action camera that has built-in memory, built-in storage. 46 gigabytes, I think, memory is built into the camera. It takes a card as well, one of the little mini cards, but it has built-in 46 gigabytes of memory. It also, like I said, takes both. It'll take both of my DJI Mic 2s on separate channels via Bluetooth. Both of them via Bluetooth. I don't have to connect anything into the camera. It takes 2 DJI mics on separate channels via Bluetooth. That's another feature that's unique to the Action 5. And it also does a pseudo follow. So it takes a 4K image and crops it down to 2.7K, and then it'll follow you around that 2.7K. Now, obviously, it's limited, but it's still a neat little feature that if you want to walk around a little bit in front of your camera, you can punch that in, and it'll follow you, but it's down to 2.7K. So I switched over. I used to shoot everything 24. Now I'm shooting everything 30 because I have Ecamm Live. I have my phones. I have my Lumix S5 Mark IIX. I have my Action 4. I'm going to have my Action 5 in a couple of weeks. Just to standardize, I just made it 30. Sean says he agrees with the 10-bit rule. Did you film your podcast yet? No, I'm a little bit late on my podcast because I was doing so much because of the Creative Summit. So now I'm going to be doing one in the next week or so. That's the audio podcast, Final Cut Pro Radio, and we're going to be talking just about the Creative Summit, of course, mainly, and Final Cut Pro 11. Now, there are bugs in Final Cut Pro 11, as normal. All software has bugs. So I'm expecting 11. It's hard not to say 10 after 13 years, right? It's hard not to say 10 after 13 years. Let me see something here. Turn that off. So hashtag for Final Cut Pro 11 is hashtag FCP 11, as you might expect. Now, I'm expecting a bug fix to Final Cut Pro before they go on vacation, which means, everything's backwards. 11.0.1 is what I'm expecting. 11.0.1. If they sneak in a little feature or two with the bug fix, nobody's going to object to that. But I would say this is coming in could be this week, Tuesday or Thursday, or the following week, Tuesday or Thursday. Could be. We don't know. Then I wonder, when filming and editing in 10-bit, what's your output for the web, YouTube? Usually I output 1080p. I don't worry about the web that much. I'm streaming this in 1080p. Everything looks fine in 1080p. If I have something really, really special, I might upload it in 4K. You mean as far as 10-bit or 8-bit? I probably 8-bit. I always acquire the highest quality that I can for archival reasons. Regardless of what my output is. So even though I output 1080p, I always film in 4K, and I also film in 10-bit. There's no reason not to. It has a better, it's easier to, not easier, but it's better result if you do any color correction or anything in post. 10-bit has a lot more colors than 8-bit, so. It's not that much difference. The file size is not that much different between 8-bit and 10-bit, but the quality is definitely there, especially if you do any post coloring. So what's everybody's experience? Who is on Final Cut Pro 11? Is everybody on 11? Now, I have 11 on my Mac Mini, and this is the first time that I'm running the current OS with Final Cut Pro as soon as it came out. I haven't done that for years. I've always been like 6 months or 1 year behind with Mac OS with a stable version of Final Cut Pro. But since I got a new Mac Mini, I had no choice because it ships with Sequoia. So now I'm on Sequoia. I've got everything over on Sequoia except for default folder. I have an older version of default folder that's not working in Sequoia, so I have to, I'll get a copy of that at some point. And what else isn't working? Couple of other things. The other apps that I have, look, I went online and some person was saying I've seen people say they're going to get the base Mac Mini, 256 gigabyte of storage space, 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is a really good deal for $600. It's a great deal for $600, $599, whatever it is. I've already filled up my hard drive, my SSD, up to 500 gigabytes. What is it right now? I'll tell you what it is. SSD. I'm up to 450 gigabytes just installing my base, not your, my base applications and support things that I need. I have many gigabytes, for example, of motion templates. Probably a lot more than a lot of people. So that's one of the things. I totaled them up. I'm 450 gigabytes right now. I'm not sure why this is blinking on and off, but it is. It's like it's doing it online too. So Sean says he's at the end of a project. I'm going to update as soon as I finish. Now I make a separate volume on my SSD if I have an older version of Final Cut Pro that I want to use, and then put it on there, put the new, I don't know why this is blinking, but it is. Huh. What is different? I don't know. If it blinks. If it goes out, it goes out. Nothing I can do about it. We're in the middle of a broadcast. We can't be stopping to do maintenance. So right now I have my MacBook Pro, M1 Max MacBook Pro. I have Ventura, Sonoma, and Sequoia on 3 separate volumes on that in Final Cut Pro installed on all 3. Older versions of projects, but I'm not using my MacBook Pro anymore. Not right now. I'm using it right now for a 3rd display. 1 display, 2 displays, and airdropping my 3rd display on my MacBook Pro. That is what I see. People worry about 10-bit and log, work with their NLEs with that footage, then most of them go back to Rec 7 and 9 8-bit compressed YouTube. Yeah, but that's the way it's always been. When HDV first came out, I always filmed in HDV, 1080p instead of standard def, but everything, if you upload something, most of the deliveries are DVDs in standard def. I always acquire the highest that you can get. Log, absolutely. If you're filming with an iPhone, do yourself a favor and switch over to log, Apple log. But don't use the native phone, because native phone is shooting Apple Log and ProRes HQ. Shoot it with the Blackmagic camera, which just had another update. They had another update. Or Kino. I don't like Kino because you can't switch while recording live, so I'll use the Blackmagic camera. As a matter of fact, the Blackmagic camera, I'm not sure why this is doing that weirdness, but it is. Let me just see if my cables are plugged in correctly. If you lose me for a second, don't worry about it. Hold on. We'll let you watch the outside. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm just checking my cable connections. That's in there good. Well, it's cold out. Very cold. It's only 33 degrees. It's only 33 degrees here, and it's 10 o'clock, 10:30 on the East Coast. Garrett says he's working with Final Cut Pro 11. Absolutely. I've been using 11 since launch, and I'm really loving the call out feature and the magnetic mask. Absolutely. Only problem is that magnetic mask sometimes does not render to compressor. Yeah, I know that. I heard that. So that's why I'm saying there's going to be a bug fix update. Should address that. There's a couple of other things. There was a problem with me specifically. I use United Audio, U-Audio, AU plugins for my audio. And every time, I don't know why, just U-Audio plugins, every time you launch Final Cut Pro, it had to rescan all the AU plugins every time you launch Final Cut Pro. And it doesn't just do the ones that you're using. U Audio is horrible about this. They download all their plugins to your system every time you update something, not just the ones you're using. So it has to go through 250 audio units every time you launch Final Cut Pro. Now, I've reported that to the team, and I've reported that to the Apple feedback page. So they know about it. I think it's a United Audio issue. I don't think it's a Final Cut issue, but it's still, hopefully we can get that fixed, because I just took all my U Audio plugins out of the components folder and put them in a separate folder, and that seemed to fix it. But U Audio still locates them because I'm using them right now. But Final Cut Pro is no longer trying to validate them. I have made a bug report regarding the problem with the magnetic mask and compressor and the work around its export directly from Final Cut Pro 11. So I've seen, you're not the only one that's reported that. I've seen that reported multiple times from multiple people. So I'm pretty sure that that's a legitimate complaint. Bug. All right, we're back again. Yeah, so I'm expecting 11.0.1. Now, initially I was saying, is it going to be 11.1 or 11.0.1? But then I realized that no, we're not going to get 11.1 a couple weeks after 11.0 comes out. We're going to be on 11.0 probably for a year, probably, plus or minus. And then next Creative Summit, next November, if they have it in 2025, we might see 11.1 with some new stuff. But we'll be getting features and bug fixes between now and 11.1. Because I asked the team directly, I said, you know, if anybody can find this, I'd appreciate it. Back when Apple initially came out with Final Cut Pro 10, somebody on the team absolutely said, this is our 10-year roadmap. This is our roadmap for the next 10 years. I've seen reference to that quote multiple places online, but I can't find the actual quote, and I can't find who said it. I don't know if it was Peter Stenauer or somebody else in the Apple Pro Apps team, but somebody absolutely said that, but I can't find the quote. I found 3 references to it, including Philip Hodgetts and 2 other people. I remember them saying that, but I can't find the quote. If anybody out there, any of you sleuths on the internet, can find the quote in an article and who said it, I'd appreciate it. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because when we had the Q&A at the Creative Summit on Friday afternoon, my question to the team was, initially when Final Cut Pro 10 came out, well, first off, I thanked them for Final Cut Pro 11. I said, I'm going to thank all you for Final Cut Pro 11, and I also want to thank you for that great presentation that you gave us, which it was a fantastic presentation. So that's how I started out. Then I said, when Final Cut Pro 10 came out, somebody said that this is the roadmap for the next 10 years. I said, well, it went past 10 years. It's 13 years plus. I said, does Final Cut Pro 11 have a similar roadmap, or are we going to see Final Cut Pro 12 in 6 months? And of course they laughed and they said, well, we can't talk about future. No, of course, but just the roadmap. That's what I was curious about. Is it going to be another 10 years before we get to 12 or plus or minus or whatever? they didn't directly answer that, but they heard the question. So I expect a full point update once a year, plus or minus. That would be a normal way to go. So they go to 11.1 next year, 11.2 the following year, 11.3, 11.4, etc., until they get to 12. So I don't think 12 is anywhere near ready. I'm sure it's years and years away. I got, you ever get one of those tickles in your throat? Pollen or whatever the heck it is. That's what I got. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, we talked about 11. Any more comments about 11, go ahead and any more comments? Our friend Garrett says, I expect them to switch to a new name in 2025, like Final Cut Pro 25. Of course, he's just joking. Now, we'll be on this. We just started Final Cut Pro 11. Apple, here, what Apple says about it, because I just, Final Cut Pro 10 is in a rearview mirror, okay? The development for Final Cut Pro 10 is over. There's no more development. Doesn't mean they won't fix a bug or two, but the development for Final Cut Pro 10 is over. They're not going to be adding any features to Final Cut Pro 10 at this point. Features will be going with Final Cut Pro 11. But I just want to pull this up real quick and show you what they talk about. This is how Apple describes it. Final Cut Pro 11 brings a new chapter for video editing to the Mac. Okay, a new chapter. Now that's interesting. Why can't I grab, because I'm not there. I have to grab this and put it over this way. It's a new chapter. In the book of Final Cut Pro, 11 is a new chapter. That's how they call it. It's brand new chapter. It's not Final Cut Pro 10 point whatever. It's Final Cut Pro 11. 10 is in the rearview mirror. They're not developing for 10 anymore, other than they might get a bug fix or something. That's not what I'm talking about. The features that they add to 11, some of them may be backwards compatible with Final Cut Pro 10, but they're not developing specifically for Final Cut Pro 10 anymore. It's 11, the future. 10 is in the past. Now, one of the things that was asked about at the summit to the Q&A, the Final Cut Pro team, and I found it interesting the way they answered it, is how they place the Final Cut for the iPad in between Final Cut Pro for the Mac and Final Cut for the iPad. They said they don't look at these two apps as being having the same features. They don't look at the two apps as having feature parity. They don't expect all the features in Final Cut Pro on the Mac to be ported over to Final Cut Pro on the iPad. And they don't expect some of the features on Final Cut for the iPad to be ported over to Final Cut Pro on the Mac. For example, you can't draw on the screen on the Mac with the pencil. That's one of the things. Right now, you can't do Magic Multicam, whatever that stuff is. It's only on the iPad version. So they're developing two separate apps. Some of the features will be common. Others of the features will not. If any of you edited on Final Cut for the iPad, Final Cut for iPad, I have a question for you about that. For example, the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit was all about Final Cut Pro 11. There was hardly any mention of Final Cut for iPad because they didn't really update it that much. They didn't put the big ticket items that they have in Final Cut for the Mac onto the iPad. There's no magnetic mask that I know of on the iPad version. I don't even know, did they do, this is why I want to know, if somebody's using Final Cut for iPad, did they put, I don't even think they gave you transcribe to captions in the iPad version. I don't think. But there was, the whole Creative Summit was all about Final Cut Pro 11. That's what it was about. Final Cut Pro for the Mac, take a back seat. Final Cut Pro 11, you're in the driver's seat. It's all about Final Cut Pro 11. So they say they're not developing them to have feature parity. Everything's going to be equal on both sides. They're not. They're almost like companion apps. There's some things that you can't do on the Mac version, and there's some things you can't do on the iPad version. So they're not developing those two apps to have feature parity. Well, anybody that edits on the iPad version, they didn't give it magnetic masks, did they? I don't think they did, the iPad version. Let's just see here. See, so they developed Final Cut Pro 11, Final Cut Pro 11, and Final Cut for iPad 2.1. Let's see. So it says Final Cut, let's just go over here and look at this. Final Cut Pro for iPad, this is what they added, advances the touch-first editing experience with support for enhanced color and light, which has been in Final Cut for a year. Live drawing inks, haptic feedback, even more built-in content. So these are some of the things you can't do on the Mac version, including color grading presets and dynamic soundtrack, other meaningful workflow improvements. See, that's what they did. So, like I said, Final Cut Pro on the Mac was the big star of the Creative Summit. Final Cut for iPad, sit in the back seat. I don't think they're ever going to have a Creative Summit where the iPad version overtakes the Mac version. I think they have millions of people on the Mac version, by far more than the iPad version. The iPad version is really cool. Don't get me wrong. It's very, very cool. Speaking of Final Cut on the iPad, I hope everybody got LumaFusion during the Black Friday sale for $9.99. For less than $10 LumaFusion had a sale. I did a special live stream just because I found out about that. $10. That's 2 months of renting Final Cut for iPad. You could have the full version perpetual license of LumaFusion. I think now it's back up to $19.99 for Christmas. Normally it's $29.99. Sometimes that cough sneaks up on you. The little sneaky thing. It's one of those back of your throat tickle kind of things. So, Daniel says Final Cut Pro 11.0.1 next week with Mac OS 15.2. That could be, because Apple AI said to open worldwide, not only USA, in December 2024. Well, they have until like right before Christmas, I think. That's when I expect it between next week and Christmas. So next week could be, or the following week. That would be most likely. I did not get LumaFusion, mostly because I have been the happy owner of the app since version 2.4. Well, there you go. You don't have to buy it again. LumaFusion is a one-time price like Final Cut Pro. If you bought it 3 or 4 years ago, every update is free. Every update is free because he got a perpetual license. And what they do every once in a while, they'll do add-on packs. Like they did the multicam, which is really good add-on pack. And they have the new one, speed ramps and Bezier curves and stuff. That's another add-on pack. But once again, those are, you can just buy them and then you have them forever. Or they just started, they have this thing called Storyblocks subscription. It's not theirs, it's Storyblocks. It's $9.99 a month, and you get all access to all these clips and audio clips. I think there's music in there, and you get access to the whole library of stuff. Well, they've added for this, without changing the price, they've added the 4 packs into that monthly subscription. So now you not only get the music and the clips and the pictures and the audio for $9.99 a month. Now you also get multicam and the speed ramping package and the export to XML export to Final Cut Pro. And there's one other one. There's 4 of them. Multicam. Did I say that one already? If you don't want to buy those, you can just pay. If you're already using Storyblocks, you automatically get updated, no additional cost. So it's a great deal. And you don't have to subscribe to get those. You can buy them as a package. So do you have, or could you maybe do short tutorials on how to use LumaFusion on an iPhone? I somehow find the workspace too tight. Surprisingly, it's quite effective. Now, here's the odd thing. When I use LumaFusion on my phone, I edit vertically. Even though the picture is horizontal, it's 16 by 9, but I find editing with it vertically better. Let me just pull it up, see if I have it here. Well, I know I have it. So I find the editing, it has a bigger viewer if you do it vertically. I like that. And then your timeline and everything is just add us. I don't even know what the heck these are. These are some of my videos. Let me see if I have one I can add. These are mostly from the Creative Summit. Lots of them from the Creative Summit. But anyway, it's just the timeline's down here, the viewers up here. You have play, pause buttons, set in and out, drop them to the timeline. You open up menus, of course. Create your first project. So it's very effective to shoot on the phone and edit on the phone. When you do this, the viewer gets too small. So the viewer's over here now. So I like it better when the viewer's bigger like this. So I actually edit on my phone this way, but it's very nice to shoot on the phone, edit on the phone, export from the phone to YouTube or whatever you're doing, or AirDrop it if you want to Final Cut Pro. But I find it very effective. You don't have to import it somewhere. It's whatever you shoot on your phone, you edit right on your phone. The regular price is $29. It's been that way for years. If you bought it once, you don't have to pay again. It was on sale for less than $10 for like a week. And I told everybody about it, just in case. Just in case. All right, so tonight, what am I doing tonight? Tonight I'm going down to Christmas celebration with Santa Claus down on a local main street. For about an hour, I'll run down there and film it with my iPhone 16 Pro Max because it'll be light out. If it was going to be dark, I'd take my Lumix S5 Mark II X. But since it's going to be light, I'll take my iPhones. And then I'm going to the local Humane Society is having the yearly gala benefit to raise money for the animals. They have a big fancy dinner, and I'll be going to that tonight as well. because we hold our phone vertical by nature, so it's more intuitive that way. I don't film this way. I film this way. So when I'm filming, I film this way 95% of the time. Once in a while, I'll do the film specifically this way, but I don't film this way. I film this way. So the idea of editing that way, if you film that way, it's not that big a deal. But like I said, with LumaFusion, the viewer is bigger. The viewer is bigger in the vertical mode, so I like that better. If I have to do something more in the timeline, I'll switch it over. It switches over. So you have a longer timeline. But I like to edit on the phone with the vertical mode. So what else do we have? Let me, I have a couple of movies here. I think you've all seen this one, but I'm going to play it again anyway. I got a phone call when I was at the Creator Summit. Hello? Yes? Don't worry, we won't say anything. We won't say anything. Thanks for calling, Tim. I appreciate it. So that was a phone call I got. That was every floor had its own little lobby in front of the elevators, and when I was walking by, the phone rang, and lo and behold, it was somebody we all know named Tim. And he told me that Final Cut Pro 11 is coming out, so that was a nice little heads up. Of course, we already knew that. We already talked about it. We've been talking about it for last May is when I first brought it up that it was going to jump from 10.8 to 11. There it did. Nobody else was talking about it in those days, just me. We were discussing it many, many times. So, we know the Final Cut Pro team watches these live streams, so I want to say accolades for getting us Final Cut Pro 11 and get the 11.0.1 bug fix update out before you go to Christmas vacation, please. Please do that. So, what are you looking forward to? Is anybody getting any special presents for Christmas? I got my present. I got the Mac Mini Pro. This thing is phenomenal. By the way, see, it's happening. Well, it's not too bad. Right now, I'm just going to check the activity monitor because it's starting to heat up again. Let me see I presume it's good because I'm running Ecamm. Let's see what's going on here. Ecamm Live, yeah, it's running 42% of my CPU. And then UAD is 38. So I have a Movo webcam. That's a bunch of stuff. But I'm just watching the temperature. It's up to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. I have it, I'll keep an eye on that. Keeping an eye on that, 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which is it's not too bad. Usually it runs about 127 to 130, so it's a little bit more, but I'm running Ecamm Live, UAD console, Mevo wireless webcam. Those are the three highest. Ecamm Live, as you might expect, because listen what icon and text. There we go. This is what Ecamm Live is doing. I'm sending a single live stream to Ecamm Live. Okay? Ecamm Live is streaming that stream out to X, Facebook, and YouTube. X, Facebook, and YouTube. It's streaming it out to those three platforms, which is one of the reasons, let me just pull this out, which is one of the reasons that it's using a lot of horsepower. So it's streaming it out to three platforms, and it's recording ISO video and ISO audio. If I had 2 or 3 or 4 guests on, it would be recording ISO copies of all those guests' video. So it's doing all that. It's taking my stream, spitting it out to 3 other places, and recording ISO video and ISO audio. That's why it's using so much. It's a really good application. I like it a lot. And I think I found out why I couldn't use my Mevo cam over there at the Creative Summit. I think I did. Let's go over there and watch another movie. So we'll watch this one a little bit. This is like just a quick, this is the lobby of the Final Cut Pro. Let me see, where am I? Final Cut Pro Creative Summit lobby, Expo night. Michael Cioni with
How you doing?
Pretty darn good. What about the presentation yesterday? I mean, the theater and all that.
Oh, it was beautiful. That was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because we went to one of their theaters at One Infinite Loop back in like 2018 or 17. And I was worried we weren't actually going to be able to go into the park this year because we did this at the developers center. Whatever it was called.
Developer
It
Center.
started there in their really beautiful theater, and then we were able to go over. So I got worried.
So that's Trevor Horton, Michael Horton's son from LA CPUG, whatever, Creative Pro User Group in LA. That's his son, who's also in the business. Before Christmas, I always review my setup to see if any modifications have to be done for the next year sort of review. Absolutely. I buy things when they're on sale. I was waiting for the DJI Action 5 to go on sale, and it didn't go on sale per se, but they gave you 2 batteries and $15 off. So that's pretty darn good. It's pretty darn good. So that should be coming in a week or two. The Mac Mini, I didn't want to wait for it to go on sale. I just wanted to get one as soon as I could, so I just bought it from So that one is there. I have the OWC Thunderbolt 5 external drive. OWC true Thunderbolt 5, not Thunderbolt 4 or 3, Thunderbolt 5. 5,000 megabytes a second speed, transfer speed when you measure it with the speed apps. 5,000, it's almost as fast as the internal SSD, and it's been fine so far. Everything has got a 3-year warranty on it, but it's Thunderbolt 5. I did get that for 15% off, so I got that instead of paying $599. I got it for $509, so I got that on sale thanks to Serena Catania. She had a code over there, OWC Radio. So, do I have that here? I don't know if it's any good anymore. I don't want to put it up because I don't know if it's any good. It might be over. When you're using LumaFusion, are you still recording in log, and how do you color correct that footage before uploading it? So LumaFusion, you can apply a LUT in LumaFusion. You can apply any LUT that you want. So you don't record in LumaFusion, you record and then bring the clips in LumaFusion. Absolutely. So I use log footage in LumaFusion. You can apply a LUT and then export with the LUT burned in. I do not think that your upgraded Mac Mini Pro will ever go on sale. It's mostly the standard configurations that sometimes go on sale. Amazon's had it for $50 and $100, and Adorama has had it on sale. It does go on sale, but it's not as. You're right. The cheaper ones go on sale, but I mean, you save a couple $100. That's fine. I don't. some things I don't wait for. The Apple, I wanted to get the Mac Mini because I ordered it right on day one. And the good thing about Apple is you can finance it for 0% interest. So instead of shelling out $2,700, I pay a couple $100 a month for 12 months and it's taken care of. 0% interest on the Apple card. So that's why I bought it through Apple. I don't have to worry about it. Is your RAID 5 also from OWC? Yes, it is. I've had that for 3 years right now. It has 2 more years left on the warranty. And that has connected fine to my Mac Mini Pro. I had a little bit of a problem for a day or two, and I just unplugged the cables and plugged them back in again. And ever since then, it's been running fine. Ever since then, it's been running fine. So hopefully it just had to be plugged in and out. I wonder what speed you get with that drive on Thunderbolt 4. Let me show you. I did that. I did that on my MacBook Pro. I always do that. It's not that one. So I have this site, Richard Taylor TV, and if you go here, speed tests, Mac Mini Pro, 2 terabytes, 64 gigabytes plus OWC Thunderbolt 5 SSD. So these are the speeds I'm getting. This as it says, Mac Mini Pro, 2 terabytes, 64 gigabytes, native speed, 7,000 and 5,400. That's the native SSD. Then speed of the OWC Envoy Ultra 4 terabyte Thunderbolt 5 connected to the Mac Mini, 5,100, 5,200 megabytes per second, read and write. And on the M1 Max, my MacBook Pro, the M1 Max, the native speed is 6,000, 6,100, and 5,300. These are the native speeds of the internal SSD. And these are the speeds of my OWC Thunderbolt 5. 3,000 and 3,000. If you go to Thunderbolt 4 connection. 3,000 megabytes per second. That's better than any drive that I have. Better than any other drive I have. You can see those little old birds out there. They're cold. We keep them fed all winter long. We keep them fed all winter long. Poor little things. They do okay. There's enough pine trees around this area, but we keep suet out there for them, and we keep. There's another bird feeder that you can't see. We give them water, we give them food on the ground, so they have a really good place to get food all winter here. But it is cold out there. Is your OWC RAID 5 also dual USB and Thunderbolt compatible, or only Thunderbolt? I think it's Thunderbolt. I don't think it's USB. Same with this drive. This drive is supposed to be plugged into a Thunderbolt connection. I didn't try plugging it into the front of my Mac Mini, but I think it has to be Thunderbolt. So, but I got Thunderbolt 4 on my M1 Max MacBook Pro, Thunderbolt 5 on this, which is one of the reasons that I got it. It's got 3 Thunderbolt 5 ports on the back, 2 USB 3 ports on the front, Ethernet on the back, HDMI on the back, and it's got a audio jack on the front. Just audio out. Speaker, headphones, or speakers. Its speeds are fantastic. They are. Even if you only have Thunderbolt 4, I'd recommend this drive at this point. It comes with a 3-year warranty. 3-year warranty. So if you have any issues with it, you can call a real person, real tech support, email, call. So if you have any issues, they take care of it for you. I've had one drive I had to send back years ago because it kept unmounting. It kept unmounting. It would just be going along, up. I'm going to decide to unmount, and just unmounted over and over and over again. Now, that's typically a hardware issue. It might have been the cable. I don't know. I just didn't want it. I didn't want to deal with it. So I said, no, I don't want it. They'll take it back within 2 weeks if you have issues without any. If you want to just get your money back, they'll just do that. So that's what we did. So everybody's having a good experience with Thunderbolt 11 so far. I mean, Final Cut Pro 11 so far. I mean, I am. That's all I'm using right now. Thunderbolt is Final Cut Pro 11. The magnetic mask is really, really good. It's much better than initially I thought it was going to. Much more sophisticated. It's doing a great job. So transcribe to captions is of limited use for me. I understand the difference between captions and subtitles. Don't feed me that line. I know that. I've been doing titles and captions when I worked at the National Archives starting in 2015. Well, I know all about the difference between the two. I don't need captions for what I'm doing, but I like to have on short videos, say 3 minutes or less, I like the caption just to have a short pop on screen. The subtitles, I like them burned in on some of the videos, especially if it's hard to hear or you can't quite hear. So the transcribed to captions are they're very strict on what parameters you can change. But Intelligent Assistance has a plugin, dynamic titles, something like that. Dynamic captions. I forget what it's called, but you go there and search for it on the good old internet, and it'll take those captions that you have and make them into titles where you can change the font, and you can change the color, and you can change the position, and you can change all these different things. You can use any title that's installed on your system as a template. And this app will take care of it for you. It'll translate all those captions that you transcribed into actual titles. So then you can, if you don't want the captions, you can turn them off and just use these titles. Now, I've never seen anybody that has great 100% accurate transcriptions. Black Magic is what I use for long form, but even those, I have to go in and modify things, misspellings, and if they didn't split where I wanted them to and stuff. Now, the good thing about the Black Magic Resolve is you can set a character length per line. So you can say, I want 14 characters per line of text, and I only want one, or I only want 1 and 2 lines of text, and it'll limit your captions to whatever parameters you set. Titles, subtitles, they're not captions or subtitles, but it transcribes. With Final Cut, the captions don't have that option. You don't have any option of character length. You don't have any option. Final Cut Pro does the entire sentence. So if your sentence is this long, that's how long the caption's going to be on screen. Now, the end user can change some parameters, but you can't change anything when it transcribes those captions. If it's this long, this is how long it is. Well, I don't want to be reading my text like this. I don't want to be doing that. I like more concise, center of the screen captions. And I'd rather have titles come on quicker than these long spaghetti noodle captions that just go on forever because that's how long the sentence was. So I don't find those captions that useful yet. Now, I expect them to modify that. I expect them to perhaps have an option for character length and option for how many lines. That's what I like to see. And then Phillips and Greg's dynamic titles, dynamic captions would be much more effective because it just uses whatever Final Cut Pro does. It doesn't change the length either. Final Cut Pro 11 works fine for me. No problems with plugins. I don't have any problems except for the United U audio, and I took care of that by doing something. So I expect that to be fixed. I was asking because now many RAID can be connected on any computers using USB-C port. Who is to say to be compatible with USB or Thunderbolt? The system will detect and adapt, but is compatible. I don't think mine. I think mine are Thunderbolt specifically. I don't think they'll run off USB. Not these two. Haven't tried the other one. It's Thunderbolt 5. I don't know why it would run on USB. USB can run on Thunderbolt, but I don't know if it's Thunderbolt's backwards compatible. Doesn't seem like it would be. Thunderbolt and USB are two different protocols. So I don't think it is. I'm just going to say I don't think it is. That's why they don't say Thunderbolt USB, but I don't know for sure. You can try it out. The RAID, I don't think so. The RAID's pretty much has to be Thunderbolt. The Thunderbolt connection is a little bit finicky sometimes. Sometimes you got to make sure you're plugged in all the way because it's a little bit loose. I've had that issue with. Here's something else. If you are going to get a dock, Thunderbolt dock from OWC, I recommend getting the Thunderbolt 4 dock because the Thunderbolt 5 dock doesn't have any USB 3 ports, USB-A ports. The four-numbered Thunderbolt 4 dock has 3 USB-A ports on the back along with 3 Thunderbolt ports. And I'm not sure about audio out and some other things, but it has less ports. Even though it looks the same, it has less ports. So I'd recommend getting the older one to have more compatibility. I have 3. I'm running the Camlink 4K off the dock right now. But you can't run off the dock if something else is plugged into it. If you got like hard drives that are requiring power, it'll freeze. I'm not doing that, I don't think. Would I have anything plugged in there? I don't think so. So did you all enjoy the coverage of the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit that I provided? I have, 15 hours of coverage, maybe 17, 18 hours of coverage. And I'm still putting up more videos. I have more stuff to put up. But I'm not going to put up everything. Some of the stuff will wait till next year before the hopefully Creative Summit. Usually I get a little bird tells me what's going on sometime in March and May. I hear a little tweet, hey, the Creative Summit's happening later this year, but don't say anything yet till we make an announcement. Of course, I would never do that. Look at all these thumbs up that are coming in. Thank you very much. It's appreciated. Don't forget thumbs up, subscribe over there. Absolutely. It all helps they call it the algorithm. Thunderbolt is not compatible with USB, but USB 4 is compatible with Thunderbolt. Every time you try to connect a Thunderbolt only drive to USB only port, you get an error message. Yeah, I wouldn't even think about trying that. I don't know. I have plenty of Thunderbolt. I have 3 Thunderbolt 5 ports in the back. One of them is going to my United Audio interface. One is going to my Thunderbolt 4 dock. And where's the other one going? Oh, it's going to my SSD drive, my Thunderbolt 5 SSD drive. I was so glad that Apple added Thunderbolt 5 to their new M4 Max. I'm so glad, because I was hoping they didn't stick us with Thunderbolt 4 again. Thunderbolt 5 is great, and it's got two USB 3.2 ports on the front, like I said, and an audio jack. The button on the bottom is silly to me that they put it there. It's just ridiculous that they do stuff like that. But is it no, I lift it up every morning because I shut mine down at night. I don't like my computer on at night in case there's anything going on with whatever internet stuff. I like to have it when I'm on the internet. I want to be in front of my computer, so I shut it down every night via the menu, and then in the morning I just come up, lift it up, and press it. Now they have these docks that the Mac Mini sets right on top of. It's the same form factor as the dock. And I'm not going to rush out and buy any of those. But I like to get one that has SSD slots in it so I can put some SSD SSDs or NVMe SSDs in there. And it has, port expansion. And I'd like one to have a little lever that presses that button on and off. Just a little lever, metal. I don't want to do, whatever it is. So it's like spring loaded. You just press on the lever, which sticks outside the top of the dock, and that pushes little button. You got to push it on. I never pushed it off, but I go off from the menu. So it has to push it on. It's just like a little lever built into the dock. That's what I'd like to see. Doesn't seem that difficult, but nobody like OWC doesn't have one yet, so have to see how that works. All right. We want to thank the Final Cut Pro team. Final Cut Pro 11, they watched this live stream. We want to thank you all for bringing out Final Cut Pro 11, and if you can get 11.0.1 out to us to fix these bugs that I'm sure you've had reported, that would be fantastic. This week, next week, we're grateful for Final Cut Pro 11. I am. It was a great summit. If you've never been to one, this was the best. This was the best one yet. So I expect next year to be similar. Same kind of great speakers. Michael Cioni was there. Tyler Stallman was there. He's a YouTube guy that films a lot with his iPhones, and he has a Lumix too, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you. Thank you, Danny. It is appreciated. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here for today. I got some other things to do this coming week. Try to get the next episode of Final Cut Pro Radio podcast out. We've been going on for 9 years, something like that, Final Cut Pro Radio. And I'm going to talk about the Creative Summit and Final Cut Pro 11 and other things on that show. And looking forward to it. So to each and every one of you, I want to make sure that you have a great December. We'll be back next Saturday, unless Final Cut Pro 11.0.1 pops out. If that pops out, I'll come out again with just a live stream so we can all touch base. Everybody can say what's on your mind. The Final Cut Pro team does watch this, so they get direct feedback when you make a comment and I put it on screen. All right, I'm going to get out of here, and thanks, everybody. If I don't see you during the week with Final Cut Pro 11.0.1, I will see you next Saturday. And thank you for your answer. I do understand, but I found many arrays can stay connected on USB or Thunderbolt. But mine can't. Mine are Thunderbolt specifically. I doubt it very much that mine can. Not 100% sure, but pretty sure that they can't function via USB. If the RAID's set up to function via USB, mine aren't. Mine are specifically Thunderbolt. So I will have a nice weekend. You have a nice weekend as well. And it's cold. We got the fire running 24/7 around here. See everybody later. I'll talk to you either during the week if 11.0.1 comes out, or I'll see you next Saturday. Stay warm until then. Talk to you all later.